Hi there. Welcome to my tutorial on how to create a game without coding using the platform Construct 2. Without further delay, let's play the game we will be creating in this tutorial. As you can see, the plane appears to be flying. The background is scrolling. We have a score and a plane speed indicator. The only thing missing is the flux capacitor. Every second the plane is flying, we add to the player's score and speed variable to make the game harder as the score increases. All we are doing in this game is scrolling the background images to give the appearance the plane is flying through the air. I will put a link to where I downloaded the graphics for free in the description box below. While we are watching this in-game exclusive preview, let's bring in some royalty-free commercial elevator music. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you would like to join me in the Construct 2 editor, let's get started creating this game. Create a new empty project. Set the project window size to 640 by 640. Now set the layout properties to the same and let's rename this layout to Start Screen. Rename the event sheet to Start Screen S. This will make it easier later on when we add in an additional event sheet and layout page. Don't forget to save your current project regularly. Add 5 layers and rename them like mine. Okay, great, let's build our start screen. If you want any free text for the logo for your game, head over to cooltext.com. I will put links in the description. Create a sprite for the background image on the layer entitled BG. Resize to the size of the layout, which is 640 by 640. Position the image and lock the BG layer. Click the boxes to turn on both Show Grid and Snap to Grid to make things easier when placing objects. Select the spikes layer and add in the top and bottom spikes and position them like mine. Don't forget to edit the collisions correctly. Add in the top and bottom sprites for the ice. Next, add in your game logo text. I obtained this from cooltext.com. Add the plane for the start screen. Don't worry about adding any behaviors to the plane as this is only the start screen. Add in the click screen sprite to finish our build. We need to make a duplicate of this layout for our game screen and also add in a new event sheet and link this with the new game screen. Next we need to add the touch plugin to our game. To get the start screen all buttoned up, head over to the start screen event sheet, add in touch on any touch start, go to the game screen. Okay, great, now let's work on our game screen. Add into tiled background images to replace the top and bottom ice blocks. To make the tiled backgrounds repeat properly, it's important to always set the width of the tiled background to double that of its original size and position it the same. Select the player layer and add in the plane sprite with its animations. The loop animation function on and set the animation to ping pong back and forth. Adjust the plane's collision points. When satisfied, select apply to whole animation to save doing this another 2 times. Give the plane the platform behavior and change the default speed to 0. Okay, now let's add in our code. To start with, let's create the 3 global variables to control the scroll speed, the player's death, and the current game score. We don't have to use global variables for the speed, but by doing so you can manipulate it easier. More on this when we increase the speed based on the amount of seconds passed. Let's start our code by first creating a group. Call this group system. Add a sub-event to this group called on start of layout. All these commands will be run on start of the game. Let's add in 2 text objects. One will be used to display the score, the other will be used to display the plane speed. Okay, now let's set our global variables to start from our default settings. Another way to do this is to use the reset global variables to default. Set both tiled backgrounds, X position to 0. Destroy both the top and bottom spikes and set the click screen icon and the speed text to visible. We do this as when we crash we will set both to not visible. Create a new group, call it EveryTick and add in a sub-event called EveryTick. Also to control our game over event we add in another condition game on equals 0. Let's set up our text objects. First we link the text objects to the correct global variables, then we set the correct position of the speed text object. Click Add Action. Select the score text object. Select Set Text and enter the on-screen information. Click Add Action. Select the speed text object. Select Set Text and enter the on-screen information. We need to change the angle of the speed text to match that of the plane. To do this, click Add Action. Select the speed text, set angle and enter the following information. Next we need to set the position of the speed text object to match that of the player. Click Add Action. Select the speed text object, select Set Position and enter the following. For the plane movement, let's add in a clockwise rotation. Click the Add Action, select the plane, select Rotate Clockwise, and enter this text, 65 times dt. Add action. Select the tiled background, set X position, enter the following information. Add action. Select the tiled background to, set X position, enter the following information. Add action. Select the bottom spike, set X position, enter the following information. Add action. Select the top spike, set X position, enter the following information. Create a new group, call it scrolling background repeat. We need to compare the current X position and set it to repeat if that X position is reached. Right-click the new group and create a sub-event, tiled background compare X position. Enter the following information. What this will do is when our tiled background gets to this position, we will create an action to set the current X position to 0, thus it will appear like it's running on and on. Copy and paste this, right-click and use the replace object command, change it to tiled background 2, next add in the set X position to 0 for both tiled backgrounds. Create a new group, call it create objects. Within this group we will spawn our spikes. Select system, every second, and we will use the random command to generate all spikes. Select system, create object, top spike on layer 1. What this will do is every random amount of seconds we will create this object. Copy and paste and change the seconds for the pasted event as follows. To improve game performance we need to destroy the spikes when they go off the layout. To do this we use the compare X position. Create a new group, call it plane config. To make the plane lift we use the touch command. On any touch start, effect the plane vector Y position, use -450 to lift. We need to affect the plane's angle. Do this by setting the plane's angle to 325 degrees. Create a new group, call it score. We will add to the score variable as well as add to the current plane speed. The more we score the faster we go. We need to make a modification to the events we add in the game on so that when we call the game over event the game stops. If we run the game we should have a flying plane, and the background should repeat, and the spikes should spawn correctly. All that's left now is to add in the collision and the game over event to finish the tutorial. Create a new group, call it collisions, add in the following collision events. Plane on collision with top spike, set game on to 1. Destroy the plane. We can also add into this section plane spawn an explosion. Do the same as this for the other 3 collision sprites. To deal with the game over event, I use the event plane on destroyed command. We need to add in the game over text, set it so that when the plane is destroyed it will position itself in the center of the layout. To do this we call the set position. Set the X position to layout width divided by 2. Set the Y position to layout height divide by 2. Then we set our plane speed text and our click icon to invisible. We add the system wait command, then we go to the start screen. Change this to go to start screen. Finally we add in the explosion on plane collision. Create a sprite on the plane layer, add into frames from your explosion, and edit the events as follows. Duplicating the final frame and deleting it saves leaving faint marks on the screen. There are other ways to do this using the fade command, or on animation finished we destroy it. Use the plane spawn explosion command and copy it onto each event as required. Concludes our tutorial. I hope you have found this useful. Subscribe to be notified of future uploads.